What is up? My name is Yancey Strickler. I'm a co-founder of Kickstarter, the Creative Independent, and Artist Corporations. And I want to talk to you for a few minutes about this work we're doing to try to make a new legal structure and entity for creative people. Now, this project began with my own personal struggles as a creative person, putting out work, trying to get attention, finding myself in this sort of depressing cycle that a lot of us know well. And I came to see how, whereas in the past, when the creative world was more gatekept and there were fewer opportunities, those that did get a chance had a lot of support systems around them. But today, where the world is open and we can all shoot our shot, the challenge is that means all the work is on us. So I became obsessed with thinking about what are ways that I and other creative people can be aligned. We're not competing with each other, we're cooperating with each other on our shared visions. And that eventually led to the idea of not just something that could work informally as a social structure, but actually something that could give us real power and heft in the wider world. And this is the Artist Corporation. Now, to build out this idea and to make it real, we started by talking to people. We held a series of forums across the country. This is one we did in LA, asking people about their practices, what's hard, how do they currently do things, what could be different. We also launched a survey online where more than 1,600 creative people responded across all disciplines, sharing how it is they fund their work and sharing what the biggest pain points are for them. In particular, getting access to capital, getting access to healthcare, and sharing creative work, sharing resources with other people. We also heard what it is that they wanted, something that was affordable, something that was easy to understand, something that allowed them to get access to money, healthcare, and to do things together. And so we took these ideas and took the research. It began collaborating with an amazing lawyer from California, Suze McCormick, to craft the very first Artist Corporation statute. Now, a year ago, I delivered a TED Talk where we shared this idea publicly for the first time. And afterwards, people from the state of Colorado came up to me and encouraged me to come there and to share the idea with them. Now, corporate law is set at the state level in America, and so you go state by state to create new corporate forms. And so we began spending time in Colorado last year, making a half dozen trips there over the past year, to the point where we now have the very first Artist Company Act, the first statute that is co-sponsored by leading Republicans and leading Democrats. And it was introduced in the Colorado Senate a month ago, and just last week passed its committee hearing 5-0, moving forward with a high likelihood of passage. Now, what it is this law does is it creates new rights for creative people, all built on top of the existing LLC structure. So it's a new variation of the LLC with these added bits built in. So it's like a cake in the box versus something you have to make from scratch. And those pieces include that an A-Corp must be 51% owned and controlled by artists and creators, that an A-Corp has a creative mission, and that creative mission is legally protected, as are the rights of that artist and creator. It has new regimes and ideas for IP protection, including counting creative IP as a form of capital that you can use to build the valuation of your business, as well as these reversionary rights, where we default assume that the creative work belongs to artists and creators and should return to them. The A-Corp statute also allows for someone to create shares and equity at just the check of the box. So this creates a new security, the A-Corp share, which is something specific to the creative universe that can help us value and capture and realize the value of our work. Now, on our website, artistcorporations.com, we have a bunch of tools and resources where you can see how this compares to existing forms, where we show what it would take to, say, convert your practice to one of these. There's a calculator that shows how being an A-Corp might affect you economically versus being an LLC. And we've taken the exact law as it exists in Colorado and turned it into a web form so you can get a sense of the sorts of choices you're invited to make, like how should art and money be balanced out within your structure, or how does ownership work? All of that is something in a web interface that's easy to understand. And now I'm here talking about this with you because our goal next year is to bring this to California. And we want to bring it to California the same way we have in Colorado, as a bipartisan bill with wide support and led by the community that's there. In Colorado, I helped get the ball rolling, but it's artists, nonprofit leaders, political leaders, business leaders there who are really leading the charge and who are making this happen. And as the A-Corp law stretches out across the country and even internationally, we want to keep adopting this approach. Bipartisan, community-led, people fighting and advocating for their own rights and building something larger together as a result. Now, the words artist and corporation together feels sacrilegious. It feels deeply wrong. I struggled with that feeling for a while. But this is because of what we're used to the C Corp economy being. Value, profit maximization, value extraction, shareholders over everything, society pays the cost. But the A Corp economy is not going to be like that because we are not like that. It is about creative maximization. It's about putting our own practices first. And of course, every creative work is its own social investment as we're contributing to the wider commons of how we understand what life even is. So, whereas the C Corp economy is about making more money no matter what, the A Corp economy is just going to be about making another one, making more work. Let me continue to explore my practice and let me do it with dignity and security. And I really, truly believe that is something the A Corp economy will deliver. Now, this is a massive project with centuries of future ahead of us. If this works, this is something that will be around for a long time and will increasingly make the possibilities, the economic livelihoods, the security of creative people stronger and stronger as we go. This is going to happen step by step. It's not all at once. But I'm here today to share this vision and to encourage you to get involved. You can go to artistcorporations.com to learn more. This is a big tent, a big project. It needs all of us to succeed. And I'm grateful for this time to share it with you. Thank you.